What's going on, guys? It's another late night here over at Palmer Aquatics where we're turning this old ass house into an aquarium fish store. It's a crazy grind. Tonight's video is on Zebra Danio Care. I want to give you my top 5 care guide secrets, tips. A lot of times, you know, these care guides, they get super technical. They're like, oh, the pH and la-di-da-di, but it's not needed with a lot of these aquarium fish. I want to give you my personal, just how I've been keeping these fish effectively, how they're breeding on their own, and my down-to-earth guide on how to take care of Zebra Danios. So my Zebra Danios are actually in my entertainment center build. I feel like the entire hobby has seen this entertainment center. Everyone's talking about it. But anyways, guys, my number one, or I guess it really doesn't matter, this isn't hierarchy order, my first tip to keeping Zebra Danios is to understand that this is a Danio fish. And when I say what I mean by this is that Danios are a super fast, jolty, crazy swimming fish. They never stop moving, and that kind of means that you need to set up the tank and keep other fish that are similar to that fashion. You know, like, you're not going to want to keep them with like super slow moving male betas or like super long fin fancy guppies, just because, you know, due to my experience, Zebra Danios aren't nippy, but once in a great while, they're just so inquisitive that they'll just chase each other, they'll kind of nip, they're non-stop sort of like boredom, if that makes sense. And that leads me on to my next tip. Just because these fish are constantly swimming around and non-stop moving, I feel like you want to situate and set up your tank specifically for that, you know? Have a heavily crowded planted tank in a perfect scenario. If you're not into plants, maybe just heavily decor it with a lot of driftwood or just crazy decorations. I've seen Lego tanks, slate tanks, brick tanks, like everything. What I'm trying to tell you though is I feel like a lot of heavy decoration and just obstacles in the tank kind of disrupt their crazy swimming behavior, and it kind of slows down the chaos in the tank. Hopefully that makes sense. My next tip is aquarium size. Just because Danios move around so much, you're not going to want to use a small little 10-gallon aquarium. I know a lot of people do it. I just promise me you will use a 20-gallon aquarium at minimum size. I'm going to leave it at that. These fish, they move around so much, guys. That extra space is huge. It's a huge deal, I'm telling you. Okay, let's talk about water parameters. Zebra Danios are probably one of the toughest and most sturdy fish on the planet. You don't even have to heat your aquarium, and that's why I adore these fish. I love tanks that I don't have to heat, just because I'm filling this house full of fish tanks and my electric bill is skyrocketing. So I can deeply appreciate an aquarium that I don't have to heat. And as far as pH, you know, nitrate, you know, get yourself a well-established tank. I wouldn't sweat pH. I always tell people not even to think about it, because beginners and noobs kind of have a tendency to way overthink it, and it's not needed. Guys, fill your fish tank with water from your tap, use a water conditioner, and you're good to go. It's going to be that simple. Make sure you have your cycle properly set up. If it's a new tank, what I always advise people do is to grab an old filter, or, you know, if you have a sponge filter laying in a tank, grab that, set it in the tank. It's an auto cycle. I'm blabbing, guys. It's just so simple with Zebra Danios when it comes to water parameters. Literally drop them in and it will be fine. So we've talked about their crazy swimming behavior, their non-stop, just inquisitive behavior of just always running around and looking for the next thing. It's just pure boredom. We've talked about tank size. We've talked about water parameters just being as simple as it gets. So the next topic is probably food and nutrition. Zebra Danios, you can feed them a general flake, brine shrimp, literally anything. Bloodworms, they are omnivores. This is a general community fish, kind of like most Danios, guppies, platies, mollies, gouramis. As you can see here, I just dumped in a bunch of flakes and they're just going crazy. As far as, literally, we've talked about the most simplest of things, and that just shows you how simple taking care of Zebra Danios are. By the way, I love these damn little algae scrapers. I'll throw a link in the description box. I think they're 10 to 12 bucks or something like that on Amazon. I love these little things. I like how low-key they are. They're black. They're just tiny. They do a good job. They send you extra adhesives and, you know, different pads to put on there. I'll throw a link in the description, guys. My goal is to have one of these on every single tank in the house. I know it's kind of like expensive, but if I can like save some time for me to get in the tank and scrub it myself, I'm gonna have these on every single tank. I'll throw a link in the description box. I promise you'll love it. Wrapping this up, guys, my ideal tank for a Zebra Danio would probably be anything over a 20-gallon aquarium. I would heavily plant it. I would probably add some moss because they have a tendency to breed in moss. They are egg scatters, so they'll just drop their eggs in it. Plants are the answer when it comes to community tanks, guys. I promise you. Just make sure your cycle is good. Get some community flake food. Get some plants. I've said that 100 times. You don't need a heater, although I've learned that if you can bump up the temperature to maybe like 76 degrees, that their colorations just pop and they start to breed a little bit more. A lot of my tanks here are heavily planted. They're soil tanks, and I do water changes like once every 4 or 5 months. You know, people are always like, "Hey man, how do you keep up with all this maintenance?" It's like the key is to utilize the plants, man. Just trust me on this. I blabbed about it in every video. Zebra Danios, guys, as you can see in this tank, I have the long fin variants. They have short tail variants. There's so many different kinds of Danios that these are just awesome fish. Tank mates, anything general community that doesn't have too long of a tail, like exotic guppies, you know, male betas. Even, hey, look at cherry shrimp. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. My ADD just kicking in. But guys, Zebra Danios, hit up the comment section. Let me know what kind of tank you're setting up. I love hearing from you guys. That's the reason I do this. Like, tell me what size tank you're gonna do. Are you gonna do plants? Are you failing at plants? I get tons of questions, and I try to reply to everything in the comments. So please, for the love of fish keeping, give this video a like. All this ad revenue to my videos goes to building my dream of setting up this house as a fish store. So please, just subscribe. You can unsubscribe. It's free. I'm supposed to ask you to subscribe. Guys, these fish are beautiful. I love them. Super underrated. A lot of people think they're beginner fish. I don't care. These are freaking awesome fish. Zebra Danio Fish Care. Hit me up in the comments. Woo-loo! Woo-loo!